If the pain is great, this prayer is even greater. Life has moments that leave us speechless, situations so painful that they seem to have no solution, problems so overwhelming that our faith begins to tremble, and times when despair knocks so loudly on the door that we question whether God really sees us and hears us. It is in these darkest hours that we must remember a fundamental truth. No matter how deep our pain is, there is always a prayer that is even greater. The transforming power of prayer. Prayer is not just a religious ritual or a tradition we follow out of habit. It is much more than that. Prayer is a direct bridge between our broken heart and the compassionate heart of God. It is the channel through which our anguish turns into hope, our despair into faith, and our loneliness into divine communion. When we declare, "If the pain is great, this prayer is even greater," we are proclaiming a deep spiritual truth. There is no human suffering greater than God, His power to comfort, heal, and transform. Every tear shed, every sigh of pain, every silent cry of despair can be turned into a powerful prayer that moves the heart of the Creator. Understanding the nature of pain. Pain is not only physical, it can be emotional, spiritual, or psychological. It may come from the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, betrayal by someone we trusted, professional frustration, financial struggles, illness, or even the existential emptiness we sometimes feel. It is part of the human experience and, as hard as it is to accept, it is also part of God's plan for our spiritual growth. This doesn't mean that God causes our pain, but rather that He can use it to draw us closer to Him and to develop in us qualities such as compassion, humility, patience, and faith. The prayer born from pain. There is something special about prayers that are born out of pain. They carry raw sincerity, brutal honesty that pleases God. When we are well, our prayers may be formal, rehearsed, full of thanksgivings and conventional requests. The Bible is full of examples of people who prayed from their pain. David, in the Psalms, poured out his heart before God, expressing not only joy and gratitude, but also fear, anger, sadness, and confusion. Jesus Christ, our greatest example, prayed in Gethsemane with such intensity that his sweat fell like drops of blood. The prayer. Greater than any pain. When we affirm that there is a prayer greater than any pain, we are referring to different aspects of this spiritual truth. 1. The prayer of surrender. One of the most powerful prayers in times of pain is the prayer of surrender. I place this situation in your hands and ask that your will be done in my life. This prayer is greater than pain because it acknowledges God's sovereignty over every circumstance. It's like a child who gets hurt and runs into their parents' arms, knowing they will find comfort and care there. 2. The prayer of gratitude in the midst of tribulation. It may seem impossible to be grateful while suffering, but this is one of the most transformative prayers we can make. It's not about thanking God for the pain itself. This prayer is greater than pain because it changes our perspective. Instead of focusing only on what is wrong, we begin to see what is right. 3. The prayer of forgiveness. Many times our pain is tied to wounds we carry, resentments we nurture, or forgiveness we refuse to extend. The prayer of forgiveness is one of the hardest, but also one of the most liberating. Forgiveness is not a feeling, it is a decision. It is choosing not to let bitterness control our lives. 4. The prayer for wisdom and discernment. In times of pain, our vision is clouded, our thoughts confused, and we may make hasty decisions that deepen our suffering. Praying for wisdom is crucial. We ask God to help us see the situation through His eyes, to give us discernment to choose rightly, and to guide us step by step. When we give our minds to God, He grants us the peace that surpasses all understanding and leads us on the right path. The persistence of prayer. One key feature of prayer that is greater than pain is persistence. It is not a prayer spoken once, but a continual dialogue with God. Jesus taught us about persistence in prayer through the parable of the persistent widow. She did not give up seeking justice even when the judge ignored her at first. Likewise, we must not give up praying even when it seems that God is not responding as we hoped. Persistence is not stubbornness or lack of faith. It demonstrates that we truly believe in God's power and goodness. It is like a small plant pushing toward the sunlight, even when watered with tears instead of rain. The fruits of prayer in the midst of pain. When we pray persistently through suffering, we begin to reap spiritual fruits that transform not just our circumstances, but our very hearts. Inner peace. A peace that does not depend on external situations, but on knowing we are not alone. Character development. Patience, humility, compassion, and love are formed in us. Intimacy with God. Pain reveals God as our refuge, comforter, and stronghold. The power of community prayer. Though personal prayer is vital, we must not underestimate the power of praying together. It's as if each person adds a candle, and together the light grows too strong for darkness to resist. The church, family, and true friends are gifts from God to help us bear life's burdens. When we can no longer pray because pain is overwhelming, others can pray on our behalf. Examples of powerful prayers. The prayer of the desperate. Lord, I can't go on. My pain is so heavy I can hardly breathe. I don't understand why this is happening, but I know you love me. The prayer of trust. Father, even when I see no way out, I trust you have a plan. Even when circumstances say otherwise, I believe you are good and that your love is greater than my problems. The prayer of surrender. Lord, I place this situation in your hands. I've tried to solve it on my own and failed. Transformation. Through pain and prayer. One of the greatest truths about pain is that it can be transformative when faced through prayer. The Bible tells us that all things work together for the good of those who love God. This doesn't mean everything that happens is good, but that God can bring good even from what is painful. In the same way, God allows trials not to ruin us, but to refine us and reveal Christ in us. Holding on to hope. In the midst of pain, one of the hardest things is to hold on to hope. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Faithful, just, loving, and powerful. Christian hope is not empty, wishful thinking. It is the certainty that no matter how dark the night, the dawn will come. Conclusion. The victory of prayer. Over pain. If the pain is great, this prayer is even greater. Is not just an inspiring phrase, but a spiritual truth proven by millions through history. It is the testimony of those who discovered that in prayerful relationship with God, there is an endless source of strength, peace, hope, and love. But remember, there is a prayer greater than your pain. Do not give up praying. Do not stop seeking God. He knows your pain, understands your suffering, and has a plan to transform your story. It can be long and elaborate. It can be silent or spoken aloud. Today, make this your declaration of faith. If the pain is great, this prayer is even greater. God is waiting to hear your prayer. He is ready to be greater than your pain. Victory is already within your reach. All you need to do is lift your hands to heaven and let prayer work its transforming power in your life.